Welcome back to Ben's Garage. We are sat in front of the inverter. I thought I'd do this little video. We've had this system set up for almost a year now, and it's been brilliant. We've generated almost 3,000 kilowatts of electric that we use ourselves. You know, we've not had to pay for that electric. That's saved us over 500 euros. And everything has worked fine. But this Growatt inverter has got some good bits and it's got some bad bits. Now the bad bits are not bad enough that I wouldn't buy it again, because we are looking at buying a second one because you can parallel them up. I think you can parallel up to 6 of them in a row, so you can have 30 kilowatts in your house if you wanted, but we only want the second one, so we can have 10 kilowatts and we can have everything in the house on the solar system, and then we'll just have the grid going in to charge up batteries when there's not enough sun. Now, some good points on this. I will start with the good points, or shall I start with the bad points first? Let's start with the bad points first. I've written them down. It's for us, we don't care, but the fan noise, you can hear it humming away now. There's 330 watts coming in. The batteries are at 100%, and there's only a 300 watt load on the house, so it pulls in a little bit more than it needs. You can still hear the fans. Now, when that's really cranking away, you've got a lot of power coming in, or you're using a lot of power, those fans get quite loud. The way we see it, when we hear it, it's like, whee! That's saving us some money. I mean, 800 watts, and you can hear the fans. You know, when we're bringing in like 4,000 watts and the house is pulling 4,000, it's like a bloody turbine factory in here. But yeah, the way we see it is, the louder that is, the more money it's making you. Some people won't like it, but so that is a bit of a downside. Now, when it comes to efficiency, these inverters are not the most efficient on a low load. So when it's idle, when the batteries are charged up 100% and you've got no load on the house, these will sit at 70 watts. So it will pull 70 watts out of your battery all the time. When the solar's out, it pulls more solar in, so that covers the 70 watts. But overnight, you'll have 70 watts per hour coming out of the battery. Then you'll have your phantom loads coming out. Your phantom loads are things like phone chargers, stuff that's on standby, all that kind of thing that you've got in the house that sort of just you don't think about. Now, I've checked on our the Growatt thing, and we average between, this is for the phantom loads in the house, 120 to 300 watts. It fluctuates, it goes up and down. So if we said on an average it's 270 watts, it gets pulled out of the battery. Now, how long is night time? So the batteries, we're probably pulling out the batteries for 10 to 12 hours. So, you know, at the worst we could be pulling out 3,600, and at the very best we could be pulling out 1,200 watts out of the batteries just through the idle load on the inverter and the phantom loads in the house. Yes, you could switch everything off in your house, but it's not practical, is it, doing that every night? That is sort of a bit of a downside. You can get more efficient inverters than this, but you can spend more money. So you pays your money, you takes your choice, don't you? The last bad point about this inverter, now I don't know if it happens with all these Growatt inverters or if it's just limited to us, but we've been having this problem for a good few months now. I have the inverter set to charge when the batteries get to 20% and there's no solar, they'll charge at 20, and I have it switched off when the batteries get to 50. Now, randomly, out of nowhere, overnight, the grid will charge the batteries up when they've not got down to the 20%. So one night they got down to about 35, it charged them back up. The other night it had only got down to about 60 something, and it charged the batteries up to 100%. That isn't even in the parameters in the inverter. It is very random, and we still haven't got to the bottom of it. Now, the one good thing is with Growatt is their customer service is pretty good. I don't know if other people have experienced it, but if you can get in contact with Growatt, you'll get someone that emails you directly. And so the bloke who I was getting in touch with, he logs into our system because we've got the Wi-Fi dongle there. We're all logged into the Growatt server. That then he can then log into that and he can see exactly what's happened. And he says, yeah, I can see where it's charged up and the battery was only at a certain percent. He said, I don't know why it's done it. And then after he'd done that, the Wi-Fi dongle just went kaput. Red light, solid all the time. So they sent us a new one out. They sent the wrong one out, and then they sent me another one out. Now it's all working again. Got it all plugged in, connected up to the router, the server and everything. It all works, and it's been working fine for just well over a month. And then randomly the other night it just did it again, and that's when it charged up well outside the parameters that I've set. I'm still waiting for an email back on that one, so I will keep you posted. But we're not sure if it's something to do with the dongle, or if it's some issue with the inverter. Now, I don't know if you can upgrade the firmware on the inverter. They've not suggested that at all, so I'm leaving well alone until they say, right, you're going to have to plug in a computer and upgrade your firmware. Those are the three main negative points, basically. But they're not that bad, really. So we're going to get onto the good points. First one, price. When we bought this, it was €850. The price has now crept up to just over 1,000. But for that price, you're getting an all-in-one. It's got the solar MPPT charger in it. You know, it's all there. It's just one unit. You plug in, you plug out, and that's it. You're good to go. Price. So for the price, it is a good bit of kit. I think the more expensive sort can be more efficient, but I don't think they give you any more of a guarantee on them. So what do? We are looking at buying a second one of these at some point so we can parallel them up. So yeah, another good point, ease of use. It's easy to wire it up. It's all self-explanatory, really, if you've got a little bit of common sense. Navigating the menus, it was a little bit daunting to start with, but it's easy. You just scroll through and it really is simple and easy to use. So that's another plus, really. The last good point about this is, although it's not very efficient at sort of low loads, sort of, you know, from sort of like 300 up to 1,000 watts that you're pulling out of it, when you get to sort of 2,000 to 3,000 watts, it becomes really efficient. It's 93% efficient at converting your battery power to AC power. When you get like to high loads, sort of 4,000 to 5,000, it drops down a bit into the 80% efficient. But most of our pulling out of the battery is going to be sort of around 2 kilowatts. So that is, for us, works out quite well. It's the most efficient at that sort of load for our use. So we put the kettle on of a night time. The kettle's about 2 kilowatts. It'll pull power out the battery. It'll be 93% efficient converting the battery power into AC power to boil that kettle. Whereas if it was like a 600 watt load, like at the moment we've got the dehydrator going, if that was running on the battery, you're not going to get the efficiency at 600 watts that you would at 2,000. And then it goes the other way again when you get higher. So, you know, 4,000, 3,500, 4,000 plus, the efficiency drops down a bit even still to, you know, sort of around the high 80s. I don't know, there's probably a lot more good points, but I thought these I'll just pick out 3 bad, 3 good. And the bad ones are not bad enough for us to not want to buy another one. So so far it's been bloody marvellous. So I thought I'd put this little video out and just explain what's been going on with this inverter. So we've had it for almost a year and it's been pretty damn good. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.